Hoover ultimately chose to, in terms of the crash, ultimately chose to, quote, pioneer a new field, as he actually called it, by being the first president in his mind to respond very proactively to the economic ordeal that he saw at the time. As a result of the crash, therefore, in 1929 alone, in the roughly 2 months remaining in that year, Hoover helped promote some 128 bills that regulated agriculture and business. He actually resumed the expansion of things like credit and the money supply. He also did things like secured the promises of huge corporations to not cut back their wages. He increased government spending, actually created a deficit of $2.2 billion in response to the actual crash. He ultimately raised that deficit from some 16% of our GDP at the time to 21%. He would even do things like providing farm subsidies of $600 million, would begin massive public works projects such as the San Francisco Bay Bridge, the LA Aqueduct, or of course what's named after him most famously, the Hoover Dam. In 1932, he would help pass the Emergency Relief and Construction Act that would ultimately give out credits of $4 billion. Eventually, the Revenue Act of the same year, something that had Hoover's engineering ideals all over it, would raise taxes sharply. They were actually the largest raising of taxes in peacetime in the history of the United States. That was the government response of Hoover, a response that ultimately had dramatic effects upon the economy. In fact, he would even do things like raise the tariffs, those taxes placed upon incoming imports, which made goods here in the United States more expensive and also meant that the countries who suddenly had taxes put upon their imports decided to put their own taxes upon the goods that we exported to them, which meant that we sold less than we had before.